Hey everyone, welcome back to Cozy Tea. It is Rob. Thank you once again for tuning in to the YouTube channel. It is Sunday yet again, and today the sun is shining bright in the sky. Thank goodness. We have had some cloudy days here in Ohio, and it's just nice to have the sun shining for once. So go on and get yourself a cup of tea and a snack, cozy up in a cozy spot, and let's get into today's video. Before I get started, I just wanted to take one moment to acknowledge that it is currently Black History Month. And I wanted to thank the pioneers of the Black community, those who stand strong today, to the ones that came before me in our time. Thank them for fighting for this goal. Although we have much room for improvement, there's been a lot of improvement made. And if it weren't for pioneers like Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., the Freedom Riders, and these wonderful people who sacrificed their lives for a cause, to fight for inclusivity, to fight for equality, to fight for freedom. Without those people, I wouldn't be here in the position that I'm in, and I wouldn't have the graces that I have. So I just wanted to thank those souls as they rest, as they look down upon us. Thank you so much for everything you sacrificed. And for all of us who are still fighting today, keep up the good fight. It's a fight worth fighting for. Inclusivity, equality, freedom, all of these things are so crucial. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that. Now let's actually get into today's video. In today's video, I'm finally doing a paint review. So we're kind of deviating from my normal talk and whatnot to a more technical analysis of a product. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If anyone has seen this on Amazon, I've seen it a couple times and the reviews are really good. So I just wanted to take a moment to test it out and see what it's like. All right, the product that I'm reviewing today is the Mei Liang Watercolor palette. I got it off Amazon for $20 US, and I will link it in the description below if you are interested in checking it out. As a disclaimer, this is not sponsored. I bought this with my own money just to test it out because I thought it was interesting. It has really great reviews, and I wanted to test it out for myself to make sure that those reviews were correct. All right, because businesses out here, they be leaving reviews on their own products. So we just want to make sure that it is a 4.5 out of 10 product. So let's get into that. The packaging is really nice. I love the box that it came in, the little parrot on the front. It's very clean, it's very minimalist. Also, it is a Chinese product, so some of the packaging and paperwork is in Chinese, and I think it's just a really cool aesthetic to have that writing in Chinese on the front. It is also translated in English, but it just looks really cool to have the Asian writing on there. And when I say Asian, I mean Chinese, because this is actually Chinese characters. I know for sure because I've done my research. So anyway, as I was saying, this set comes with 36 colors, which is really crazy for $20 that you could get that many colors. My Winsor & Newton Cotman set came with 12 colors, and I paid $26 for that with a coupon. I think the original price is like $35 to $40. So that is pretty substantial for the price. I'm going to go ahead and read the colors for you so you know what we're working with here. We have white, lemon yellow, cadmium yellow, orange yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium red, vermilion, scarlet, carmine, ruby red, madder red, rose red, violet red, fresh purple, deep violet, light sky blue, fresh blue, cobalt blue, ultramarine, turkey blue, Persian blue, Payne's gray, green yellow or yellow green, tree green, hooker's green, deep hooker's green, emerald green, olive green, yellow ochre, yellow sienna, burnt sienna, Van Dyke brown, burned brown, and coal black. That is a lot of colors. And it's good. The only discrepancy on this for the blues, it says that there's a Payne's gray. I'm pretty sure it only has the Persian blue because that looks very similar to another Persian blue that I have. I do not think that the Payne's gray is actually in this set, so that might be a misprint in the paperwork, but we can work without it. In regards to the actual watercolor palette itself, it is this very nice teal metal, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was just going to be white, but it's very pretty. It's got the parrot and the Mei Liang on the front, and it's just this really nice teal color. When you open it up, I will say that the pans look kind of cheap. They're not very clean looking. It does look like the pans that they're in are very kind of small and frail, but for $20, what do you expect? I will say the pan display for Winsor & Newton Cotman, which is what I normally use, is much more aesthetically pleasing, but for $20, we're not going to hark on that. When I added water to the watercolor palette, The colors responded very well to the water. They melted very quickly. They were buttery smooth. I had no issues getting a nice consistent amount of paint in my brush. So that is a very good thing because sometimes paints can be quite chalky and they can be quite patchy. So this is a very good sign that this is going to be a quality paint. As I did the swatches, I was really surprised with the vibrancy of the colors. They're extremely opaque for the most part. The reds, the blues, the greens, the purple, very rich, very bright and vibrant, and I love me some bright, vibrant colors. I'm not about pastels. I'm not about colors that don't make a statement. I want bold, solid colors that make noise on the page. Tell me a story. And these colors are that vibe 100% in my experience. The only downside of the colors are the browns. In my opinion, they're not as opaque as the other options available. There's only 4 brown colors, and I consider brown the sienna, burnt sienna, Van Dyke brown, and the burned brown. The yellow ochre is good, and the yellow sienna is good. But the other 4, they're not so vibrant, they're not so bright, they're not very opaque, which I would want for a brown, especially if I'm going for a very deep earthy look. So in comparison to Winsor Newton Cotman, which is what I normally use, I would go with those browns over these browns. But that gives you 32 colors that are very bright and vibrant that work just as well. I would go as far to say that some of these reds and blues and greens I would use over the blues and greens in the Winsor and Newton set. I really like how rich and bold these colors are. And some of the blues with the Winsor and Newton Cotman set have this very bad tendency of staining. So when you come back and try to go over and make a nice soft blend, it does leave kind of harsh lines where the blue was sitting before. I did not have this experience with this paint. It wasn't that stainy, and I was able to get a very smooth gradient from dark to light, especially when I was doing the swatches. In the painting itself, I am working on a strawberry piece. I found a stock photo on Unsplash, which is a very good app on the Apple Store if you're looking for stock images. And I found this really cool strawberry picture, so that's what I decided to go with. I wanted to use some of these really rich red colors, so I went with this ruby red, which I think of all of the colors in this palette, it's probably my favorite. It's very, very rich. It's very bright. It's almost similar to the Alizarian crimson that comes with the Winsor and Newton set, but it's a little darker and it's a little bit brighter, which I'm all about. The other 2 colors that I used were the hooker's green for the plant parts, so all the leaves and the stems, and then the background is a solid olive green color, which I was kind of scared of at first, but I'm glad that I went with that choice because it's very organic and I liked the effect that it gave. So now I will talk about my experience using the paints. As I said, they were very receptive to the water when I applied it, so I didn't have any problems there. It was very easy to apply the paint on the page, and I do use Arches cold press watercolor paper, and that's what I'm using in this painting. So I think paper has a very significant role in how paint works and how it reacts, and having a nice 100% cotton, at least 140-pound watercolor paper is definitely going to increase the experience that you have with any paint that you're using that's watercolor. The palette that comes with the palette, so like the palette that you put the colors on and you mix them together, it's just a metal part that's under the lid, and it's actually pretty spacious, and that's what I used for this painting. I didn't use any other palettes or any other tools besides my paintbrushes, so everything that helped me create this piece was in the palette, and I find it very accessible. It has a nice little metal like finger loop on the back, so you can close it and carry it around with you if you're traveling, which is very handy. I think this would be a very good set to have if you like to go outside and paint. One thing that made me really happy when I was using this set is how easily the watercolor reactivates. Now this can be a flaw in some regards if you're trying to layer. I didn't have issues layering paint on top of paint, but if you do go over it a couple times with a wet brush, it will reactivate that paint, which I think is a gracious amount of opportunity that you have to do that. So you should know how many brush strokes it takes before you get to that point. I did find it very useful, especially when I was trying to blend out some of those harsh lines that show up when paint sits and you haven't gotten to another section. I have this issue when I'm working in backgrounds, so sometimes there's so much space to cover that you have to take your brush away and then go get more paint and come back, and those harsh lines that are there with the paint that you left before can be hard to blend out with certain colors. And as I said, with the blues in the Winsor Newton set, I have that issue. I did not have that problem with these greens. I don't know what the blues will be like, so maybe next time I will use the blues and see how that works out. I would advise, just like I would advise with any art supply that you use, that you probably wear clothes that you don't care about getting dirty or staining. These colors are very bright, they're very vibrant, and they will stain your clothes. So if you like to wear whites and bright colored clothes, I would definitely advise maybe wearing more of a loose fitted throwaway shirt while you're using these paints, just in case you get some on your clothes. But yeah, outside of that, I had a very smooth experience with these paints. They were very fun to use. I'm definitely going to go back and use them some more. I'll probably use them in my painting next week just so I can get more of the color range used. I would like to dive into the blues a little bit more, so expect a painting next week with the blues of this set, although that will not be a review video. I guess the question here is does this replace my Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor set? And the answer to that question is a hard no. Although these colors are very bright and vibrant, and some even more so than the Winsor & Newton set, there is so much pigment in some of these paints that it does kind of take away from the watercolor aesthetic, which is that transparency look. The ability to still see the paper underneath the paint is one of the reasons I like watercolor. So some of these colors are very opaque, and you have to be very careful with how much water you put in them, because it does pick up a lot of pigment, and that can hit the page and it's there and it's dark, and you got to act quick before it sets in. So that is something, I don't know if that's a problem or not. I personally did enjoy that when I was making this painting because I like the effect that it gave, but some of the colors are very pigmented, which, depending on your art style and how you like to work, could be a good or a bad thing. I think it's all right, but that is just something to point out. I will still use my Winsor & Newton set always because I do love that set, but I think this is a great alternative, and I think it's a great combination with it. If you are trying to get into watercolors and you're in the market for a decent palette, I would highly recommend getting this one off Amazon. It came in one day with Prime, and it is really high quality. It's really good for the price, and I think that if you just want to get in and have fun or just have a nice set of colors lying around the house, this is definitely a good set to go with. I would recommend this to anyone who wants to do watercolor artwork. I did forget to mention at the beginning of the video when I was talking about the packaging and everything that it came with, it does come with a water brush pen. So it's the kind of pen that you put water into the back of, and then you can kind of push the water through the brush. It looks like any other water brush pen that I've seen. I didn't use it for this. I don't really like the material that the bristles are made out of. It's very plasticky, but it feels like any of the other ones that I've seen around. I think if you're like a crafter or something, it would probably be very good for that. But for painting on the kind of paper that I use and all of that, I would like to use more of my high quality brushes, as I I invested in those. So that would make sense. But yeah, it does come with that if that's something you're interested in, and it fits in the palette very nice. So if you're traveling and you just want to have fun painting something, the brush pen is definitely the way to go. But I think I'll give this to my mom because she wanted something like this. So, but yeah, that is the review for this product. I hope that it was informational. I hope it was useful. If any of you were searching for a review on this product, I hope that this helps in your decision. Let me know if you did end up buying it, and what do you think about it? Did you hate it? Do you love it? Do you hate me because you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the video, please make sure you hit that big thumbs up. It gets my video out there so other people can see it and gain this useful information for their beautiful, sharp brains in their lives. If you like my channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and stick around for a while as I upload videos every single Sunday of every single week of every single year. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's up. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. It's really fun to make these videos, and I'm glad that I can share them with someone. So thanks for sticking around. With all of that said, I will let the rest of the video roll for the next minute or so. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't let anybody tell you who you are, because you are the one who determines that for yourself and yourself only. Your value is not measured by other people's standards, expectations, but only by the ones you set for yourself. What matters more than anything else is your character and the choices you make. And as long as you're making good ones and treating people right, you are doing all you need to do to prosper and be a great person. So believe in yourself, love yourself, because there's so much to love. Thank you so much for watching. Stay true, stay cozy. I will see you guys next time. Peace.